In a real sense, all painting is abstraction. You can't put a rock, figure, or tree on a piece of paper or canvas. Painters use colors, values, and shapes that mimic the shapes of nature. When these colors, values, and shapes are arranged in the rectangle, the page is designed. Ed Whitney observed, just as music doesn't have to have lyrics, so too does painting not have to have subject matter. Consider that abstract painters have nothing to work with except their sense of design. Painters of subject matter must learn to see, think, and paint with the same visual concerns as abstract painters. The abstract painter questions, does this shape balance this shape? Is this area too busy or too calm? Do I need color contrast here? Is this shape too dark or too light? So too must the painter of nature learn to question. Does this plant shape balance this plant shape? Is this area of road too busy or too calm? Do I need color contrast of red flowers here? Is the shadow shape of the building too dark or too light? Is this page balanced? If not, how could it be brought into balance? Now, where did the darks go? When a shape on one side of the page is repeated on the other side of the page is balanced. But this arrangement is symmetrical, equal, boring. A dynamic balance can be achieved by placing an asymmetrical shape or shapes on the page. Consider that counterbalance is an all-inclusive term. We should counterbalance with color, value, scale, texture, edge quality, as well as shapes. Arranging these elements is more visually pleasing if there is variety and contrast rather than equality. Counterbalance can be boiled down to the old saw. What you have on the left, put a little on the right. What you have in the top, put a little in the bottom. Consider that the first shape placed on the page automatically puts the rectangle out of balance. The goal is then to counterbalance with a shape or shapes in order to bring the rectangle into balance. Each time a new element is introduced, it makes the rectangle out of balance again. and so counterbalance is again required to bring the rectangle back into balance. Counterbalance continues throughout the painting process. Introduce a shape, counterbalance. Introduce a new color, counterbalance. Introduce a new value, counterbalance. Also consider with counterbalance, there's no one right answer. In fact, there are many possible right answers. Counterbalancing the painting is subjective. What's right is what looks right to you. Counterbalancing elements in a painting is equally relevant in abstraction and realism. In fact, these are not absolute terms. A painting may flow between abstraction and realism. Many artists combine abstraction and realism to the extent their work is beyond such characterizations. All painting is an exercise in balancing colors, values, and shapes, whether those shapes are abstract shapes or recognizable shapes. Your ability to design colors, values, and shapes can be greatly enhanced by exercising your design muscles. Try this exercise. On the back of a painting that didn't work out, start by wetting down half of the page and leaving the other half dry. Save random areas of white, light, middle value, and dark, warm and cool colors. Create hard edges and soft edges. Turn the page upside down a time or two during the process. Now dry the page. Create a map with scrap paper with the window 4 by 5 inches wide. Now move around the page, searching out abstract images that have some visual interest. Now introduce colors, values, and shapes to bring the image to a balanced, satisfactory conclusion. These discovered designs also invite the artist to see possibilities for introducing subject matter that will bridge the gulf from abstraction to realism. This abstract painter creates harmony with the dominance of neutral grays, balanced by areas of color for contrast. In doing so, he captures 3 geometric lights of white paper. then makes oblique shapes of these whites by overlapping shapes in front of them. Each of the saved lights is a different size and shape. All shapes point inward toward the center of attention. Middle value grays create an entryway in the foreground. The darkest grays and black are reserved for placement in, on, and around the center of attention. This abstract painter begins with delicate light, warm and cool washes. The left side is warm dominant with a few cools in relief. The right side is cool dominant with warm in relief. Hard edges occasionally become softer. Middle values are applied with the same warm left, cool right dominance and relief theme. Geometric shapes are overlapped to create oblique shapes and accentuated with a minority of curved shapes. Strong darks blast the light on the left and are counterbalanced on the right. A variety of large, simple shapes found throughout this painting are balanced by a few middle-sized and small accents. This abstract painter begins with a series of horizontal shapes unique in their size, edge quality, and texture. Now he counterbalances with a few strong vertical shapes, placing the focal point strategically to create tension in the rectangle. The soft-edged foreground invites the eye up into the scene. Middle values and darks dramatize the lights. Admire the variety of sizes and placements of the 5 saved lights. Middle values link all shapes together, unifying the page. The darks are also varied in size and placement. Interest is balanced by rest, and the cool neutrals accentuate the warm dominance.